Hey, good afternoon, guys. I hope your day's been going good. Welcome back. Um, I just have a few things to talk about today. I was going over one of the videos from one of the people that I follow. There's been so many, so I'm not going to pick out a name because I watched, I don't know, 5 or 6. And I just wanted to make sure I'm getting my facts straight before I put my own video out. So now, when it comes to Gypsy's labor story, about how she went into the hospital at 6 centimeters dilated, and she stayed that way for 2 hours or something before they gave her Pitocin. Now, I'm not going to claim to be an expert on this, but when I was young, I did want to be an OBGYN. So I looked up everything about birthing and babies, and then I was going to be a midwife. So, I mean, I do know a little. Plus, I had 2 kids. Okay, so hands-on. Anyway, she never mentions how her labor started. So she never says, well, I was sleeping and I woke up and I had pain, or I had pain in my back, or I had a sharp pain in my stomach. For me, it was a sharp pain. For my first son, it was a sharp pain in the yin-yang, if you know what I mean. And it felt like somebody just, jabbed something up there. And I was like, what the hell? It's not supposed to be like this. I didn't read this in any books, right? But anyway, so getting back to the story. She doesn't mention what leads up to her going to the hospital, which I find funny. Because even though my oldest son is now going to be 38 this year, I still remember what I was doing when I felt that first pain. I remember that day to a T. Okay, he was born Thanksgiving Day. So I remember the supper. I remember everything about that day. I remember I was sitting down in front of the television with their father, and we were watching a show, and I said, I'm tired, I'm going to go to bed. So I went to sit on the bed. Before you actually lay down, you sit down, take your slippers off, whatever. And that's when I felt that sharp pain, as soon as I sat on the bed. And I thought I sat wrong, because first time mom, I didn't know what to expect. But she says none of this. Just, I went to the hospital at 6 centimeters. Everybody knows by the time you get up to 6 centimeters, you're in pain. I mean, the real, it's coming pain starts at 3-4 centimeters, So she would have been in wicked pain by the time she got to the hospital, but she doesn't mention any of this. Nothing. So you mean to tell me, Gypsy, you didn't feel anything from 0 to 6 centimeters? Nothing? Because if you had, you would have been in the hospital at 3 centimeters. Trust me. But no, she went to the hospital at 6 centimeters. 6. What did she do? To get rid of the pain? Before she went to the hospital? What's going on? I bet every one of you has a story about how your labor started and what led up to you going to the hospital. Now, another thing. Her baby was early by almost exactly a month. So it would have been an 8-month gestation baby. Now, according to everything I watch and read, if you go into preterm labor, they'll do anything in their power to stop it, not get it going, unless there was complications. Now, if she did have, what's that word now? Brain fog. Where your blood pressure goes high. Preeclampsia. Thank you. Oh, somebody told me. My cat. If she had preeclampsia, then I can understand that. But if she had preeclampsia, she would probably have had an emergency C-section. Because preeclampsia can make the baby's heartbeat drop drastically. And the mother's blood pressure rise drastically. To the point where she'd be in danger of having a stroke. Okay? None of that. Went in at 6 centimeters dilated. 2 hours later, they gave me Pitocin. Had a nap for 2 hours. Woke up. They said push. Wow. My story leading up to me sitting on the bed was longer than that. That must have been like the such easiest story that she could come up with, that she could remember to say over and over and over again in case people ask her. Because it's really not elaborate enough for me to say, well, you know, yeah, that sounds normal, you know, or yeah, I know a friend that happened to, whatever. Anything. Nothing. My mom can tell you what my dad said when she told him, hey, it's time. My mom's 80. She can tell you what my dad said, how he freaked out, how he put his jeans on backwards with my first sister. Does she have a story about what Ken said? Did he freak out when she said, you know, I think I should go to the hospital? Was Ken even with her? Did she have to call him, tell him to come? Who did she tell first? Christy? Her sister? Ken? Who? None of that. None of that. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. This is really sounding like far-fetched to me. It's starting to sound like a pre-orchestrated story. I'm still on the bandwagon. There's no baby. And I don't care if she's on a live with Bree and a baby starts crying or whatever, because that's too easy to manipulate. So, she'd have to get on a live with a newborn baby, even if we don't see its face. I'd see its like legs, arms, or something, and it's better be moving. Then I might say maybe. And just then. So I know there's a lot of people with me on this. I've got a lot of support in my comments of people saying they're on board. They believe what I'm saying because they themselves know this is how it goes. It's not some little one paragraph story you tell when you're having a baby, especially your first. Okay, second, third down the line, you may have your story, but you keep it to your family and friends. You don't really blast it to the world. But your first, you get on that highest building with the bullhorn and tell everybody the pain you were in, because you'll remember it for the rest of your life. She mentions nothing about pain. Just that when she had her epidural, she had a nap. Now, if you watch those shows on, can I say the name of the channel? Maybe not. You know, the ones where you can watch people having babies. It's like a pregnancy show. You probably know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, that's probably where she got one of her stories from. Seriously. Because it's condensed for a TV show, so you only need a minimal amount of information. You know what I mean? And that seems like what she's giving us. A minimal amount of information. Why? Why? Doesn't she want her fans to know the juicy details of, you know, what happened and how she got to the hospital and who did she tell first? And her fans would love to know all this stuff. Not just us. Her fans would love to know. Nothing. Anyway, guys, please like and subscribe. It helps me in the algorithm so much, and I'd so appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Love ya. Bye now. Oh, everything's my opinion or alleged. Bye now.